Abel, do you like this house?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's big.
Is the house too big?
No,
Is it? Or you prefer the 6th Avenue house?
I prefer this.
No, if 6th Avenue house also has a playground, then which one would you like more?
I still like this one.
If I ask any Singaporean today, would you like to own a landed property one day? I think most of us here would gladly say yes with a capital Y. But here's what's interesting. Very few people actually end up buying one, even though when they can afford it. So what stops them? Is it because landed properties are getting too expensive, or are there other reasons? Today I want to share the 5 biggest reasons why most Singaporeans never upgrade to a landed property. So by the end of this video, you'll know whether buying a landed property should really be your next goal, or whether another strategy might actually suit you better. Hi, my name is Marcus and I'm a real estate investor in Singapore. And before I actually begin with the topic today, let me share something personal. And the reason why I started this video is because I grew up in quite a conservative family. We work hard, we save money, but we rarely talk about properties nor investment or the way we spend money. Looking back, I realized these conversations could have saved me and my family many years of trials and errors, or I would say even fighting because of money. And in fact, my first property investment actually lost money and it was super painful. And thankfully, I met mentors and challenged the way I thought about property. They taught me that buying properties isn't just about the house, it's about making decisions that affects your family's future for decades and generations to come. And that's why I started this YouTube channel, not because I want everybody to buy landed properties or invest into properties, because my wish is that every Singaporean can make better financial decisions because they have a clear end goal for their properties in mind. And honestly, I believe this could help save years of mistakes. And if you enjoy practical property conversations like these, without all the complicated jargon or hard selling, do consider subscribing to the channel. Every week, I share practical ideas to help you smarter property decisions. And before I share my first reason, I would first like to disclaim that this video is actually inspired by my clients who can actually afford a landed property, but they told me the reasons why they rather not buy a landed property instead. And at the end of the video, I will share with you what they have done instead of buying the landed property and what were their thought processes as well. So make sure you stay until the end, because that to me is the most important. But wait, let me hijack a bit. Can you help me like this video? Because yeah, I cannot find a creative reason, but liking this video will actually help me a lot. And why I'm stammering? Because I'm begging for likes. Please. Thank you. So first, reason number 1, don't buy the landed property if the mortgage actually controls your life. Let me use this simple example. Imagine if you're buying a $4.5 million landed property. For many families, the monthly mortgage could easily exceed 40% of the household take-home income. Now, here's my question. Even if the bank approves the loan and you found the house you want, would you actually feel comfortable paying that amount every single month? Do you have sufficient buffer to tide through 6 to 9 months of emergency funds in case you actually lose your job? And would you still be able to travel with your family, invest regularly into other asset classes, buy the watches you want, go for the dinners you want? Or would every financial decision revolve around your mortgage because it's taking up too much of your monthly commitment? So one thing I always tell my clients, just because you can borrow the money doesn't mean you should. Yes, your property should improve your lifestyle, but it should not become the reason why you lose your lifestyle. I've met homeowners who technically qualify for much bigger properties, but they deliberately buy something smaller. Why? Because they value flexibility, they value peace of mind, mental wellness, and most importantly, they value having extra hours to sleep at night. Don't need to worry today in the office you say something wrong and your boss wants to fire you lah. So let me know inside the comments, what do you think is a reasonable percentage of your monthly take home? That means after contributing CPF, what is the reasonable percentage allocation to your mortgage in your own perspective? Happy to hear from you because it gives me fresh perspective as well. Reason number 2 surprises many people when I'm talking to them. It is because they prefer staying in condos. This surprised me as well because everyone will assume that having a bigger house will be better because you can entertain more people, you can buy more things. But does it really mean the same for every single person? Actually, I've met families who grew up in in landed properties. And after getting married, they bought a BTO, and I recently helped them to upgrade 4-bedder. And I actually asked them why they choose not to actually buy a landed property. They say because the couple both grew up in landed properties when they were young, and they both concur or agree that when you are in a landed property, sometimes you envy your friends who are staying in condos. Why? Because in condos, when you take the lift, you will see your friend. When you park your car, the families will meet. And more often than not, during the weekends, the kids who are staying in condos will actually meet up and go to the playground to play, or the swimming pool for water play, and this actually occurs very naturally. But the same couple who were staying in landed properties, they had to deliberately create play dates and all these things because their house is so big, and even if your neighbor is at home, you don't even know whether the neighbor is at home or not. The only way is to go and knock the door, unless your kids, and when they are primary 3, they got a mobile phone, they can text each other, which I think I shouldn't comment, at least Abel doesn't have it. So long story short, community living in condominiums is still something very attractive for many Singaporean households, especially when the parents are actually both working. And by the way, if you are currently deciding whether your next move should be a landed property or a bigger condominium, or whether you should simply hold on to what you have, feel free to reach out to me because every family situation is different. Sometimes a 30 minutes conversation can save you years of trial and error or searching mindlessly on the internet to find an answer where you cannot find something that's in your context. Now, reason number 3, most people think the biggest cost of a landed property is the purchase price or the mortgage. Personally, I think the hidden cost is responsibility. Roof maintenance, painting, waterproofing, pest control, security, general repairs. Now, let me paint you a picture. It was the June holidays recently and you have taken your family overseas for 2 weeks. When you're enjoying yourself in Bali, sipping margarita and enjoying the beach, right? Are you completely relaxed? Or are you wondering, did the heavy rain today cause a leak because you saw on Instagram somebody posted, wow, today rain very heavy, or you see a flood in Singapore? Then you'll be wondering, wow, is my house, is the roof leaking or not? Or when I go back, will I see a big leakage in the roof? Some homeowners don't mind at all. They will say that, never mind, I come back, then I fix lor. And in fact, some of them enjoy maintaining their house. In fact, like my neighbor, I look at him, he's always maintaining the garden, he's always maintaining his trees, and to him, he enjoys it. But if you come to my house, I don't have much garden because that's really not my thing lah. And not to forget, my neighbor got 2 helpers. So question is, right, do you enjoy maintaining your house? If you're currently already feeling very tired maintaining a 4-bedroom condo and you really don't like to have a helper, you only want one part-time helper, right? Is moving to a landed property something you want? Because all the housework that you are currently doing will actually double or even triple depending on the size of the house you buy. And like my boss, he also don't want to have a helper. My boss. And I want to share something interesting. Can I share or not? My boss, when I joined him, he was very successful already, but he still iron his own clothes. Stay in a 2-bedroom plus study because he just don't want a helper at home. Today, he moved to a bungalow already, so I'm not sure whether he got 1 or 2. I think 1 helper. And I don't know, are you comfortable having a helper in your house? Let me know inside the comments because this is a very interesting debate amongst different families because it's just buying a home is really subjective to individual preferences. Now, reason number 4 is a very common concern. People worry that when they buy today, prices might fall tomorrow. The truth is, right, no property will always go up forever in every season. That includes landed properties because market moves in cycle. And thanks for the comment in my previous video that someone pointed to me that you don't buy property record prices every year because sometimes property might be cyclical. However, I just want to point out to those dear subscribers that actually commented, it moves in cycles. However, the dip is much softer than the surge most of the time. That means you go down by 10%, but after the recovery in 1 or 2 years time, you see the surge will usually be almost double the dip within the same period of time. Therefore, I always say time in the market beats timing the market. But let's come back to here. The reason why I'm saying this is because if you are buying a landed property, your focus shouldn't be the next year. It should be the next 10 to 20 years. Or if you ask me, right, minimum 5 to 8 years for the least if you are buying a landed property. Because landed is not like condo. You have endless demand because HDB upgraders will naturally want to go and buy. But likewise, based on the first few reasons that we talk about, you may not have constant demand for landed property owners these days, especially when TDSR and ABSD has been in place since 2012 and 2013 period. It actually cut off a lot of artificial demand from rich people that are just land banking. So buying into landed property, you should give yourself a slightly longer runway. But this is still a reason why people are not buying. Number 5 is the first world problem that most people don't have the luxury to understand. Am I saying this? Most people won't have the luxury to understand. It is what it is lah. But I managed to experience when I was young. Why? Because I stay in kampong, Lim Chu Kang. House is too big. This is first world problem, right? You cannot tell people, oh, my house too big, I very sian. Yeah, you go on the streets, you tell people this, you will gonna slap. Unless you still stay in the kampong lah. But this is something very interesting. The house is too big. And it links back to the previous reasons, like you don't want to maintain and all these things. But some of the landed property downgraders don't downgrade because they are poor or they are financially strapped. Cash strapped. Financially unable to, restricted unable to pay their mortgage or what. No lah, the owner that actually bought, they simply find that the house is too big because they have teenage kids, because the rooms in a landed property are typically between 13 to up to maybe 20 square meters depending on the layout of the house. And when you have a teenage kid or a growing up child and you have everything inside the room because the house is simply so big, you naturally have the stress to fill up the space so that when their friends come, they look into their room, they won't feel like, hey, you got money buy house, no money put furniture. So naturally the stress of adding more furniture, appliances will be there. My boss came to my house, he said, Marcus, I lost count of how many TV screens you have in your house. And that is actually true, a real issue. And just imagine when the room of your child is actually so self-sufficient, who is going to use the living room? So this is a real problem which not many people talk about. It really takes someone who has experience, who is talking to many people who are staying in landed properties, then you actually know that this is a concern. And speaking of this, right, if you need someone who has walked the talk before to give you advice on what should be your next step in terms of your property decision, do feel free to reach out to me, because I'm not just a YouTube creator, a property agent, also managing my team. I also provide consultation, because when I was making my property decision, as mentioned, my first property was a negative sale, and it took a lot of advice from my mentors over here to steer me back on track to eventually owning a 8-figure residential portfolio in Singapore. Feel free to reach out to me, let's discuss more. And in my next video, I'll be talking about what these clients actually do and what are their thinking process when it comes to these decisions. So make sure you turn on the notification bell so that you will not miss out on the next video. So last but not least, right, my personal philosophy is that one thing I learned over the years is that people often focus too much on upgrading their lifestyle only instead of upgrading their asset. Sometimes the smarter decision isn't about buying the biggest home you can afford. It's about buying the property that allows you to continue to have flexibility in your investment, in your small little spending, to give yourself a bit of mental well-being while still increasing your asset net worth. Because wealth isn't about impressing other people, it's about giving your family more choices in the future. So in conclusion, right, should you buy a landed property? Maybe, but I can say I did so and I genuinely enjoy it. Why? Because I'm not super good at investing into other, and I genuinely enjoy it. Come, tell everybody hi, hello.
Hello.
Please subscribe to the channel.
Please subscribe to our channel.
Why? Why must I subscribe to the channel? Why must I subscribe to the channel?
Don't know.
Don't know. Okay. Say like and share.
Like and share.
Like and share with your friends.
Like and share.
Okay, can. Thank you. So before we end, I would love to hear from you. If money wasn't a factor, would you choose to stay in a condo, landed property, or an HDB? Tell me in the comments, because I genuinely enjoy reading your perspective, even if it doesn't align with mine, because there's no one size fit all for anyone. And if this is not the first time you're watching this video and you want to support the channel, right, and you don't want to like and you don't want to subscribe, right, or you have already done so, you can always support the channel by contacting me to market properties or to buy a property through me lah. So best way to support the channel. So thanks for watching until the end. Hope this video actually helped you. Share this with a friend whom you think is also considering a property move, and I'll see you at my next week's video. Thank you.